Hi, welcome to another episode of Counterpunch with Trevor Loudon. We're fighting back against the world communist revolution and we need everybody to be on board. This is the battle of our lifetimes. So please like the show, share the show, put it around as much as you can. Well, we've been hearing a lot in the last couple of years about foreign involvement in American elections. Well, this has been going on since the 1920s, the 30s, through the communist movement, etc. But I'm going to talk tonight about an organisation that has never really got any public attention, but it is interfering in American politics and it does have communist roots. So I want to show you a little photograph here. This is from June 2021, very recent, and it's an older gentleman with Tiffany Caban. Now, she is a member of Democratic Socialists of America, a Marxist, and she's now a New York City councilwoman. Here's another photograph of the same elderly gentleman. This time he has a picture of Rosa Luxemburg behind him, the famous German revolutionary of the 1920s. The gentleman is standing with a group that includes Shawn Levin. He's a member of the staff of Democratic Socialists of America Congresswoman Cori Bush from Missouri. There's Adrian Salazar from the Grassroots Global Justice Alliance. That's a Front for Liberation Road, a pro-Chinese Communist Party. And here's Kate Aronoff, a left-wing journalist for the New Republic. So just who is this elderly gentleman and what is his significance? Well, here's a photograph from 1989. This man, Gregor Gysi, was at the time the last leader of the East German Communist Party. When communism fell in East Germany, Gregor Gysi took the reins of the Socialist Unity Party, the East German Communist Party. He never became the leader of the East German state, but he became the leader of that particular party. Gregor Gysi was a lawyer and was on the moderate wing of the East German Communist Party, if there was such a thing. But the East German Communist Party, as you know, was responsible for the Berlin Wall, thousands of deaths, torture, intimidation, massive spying by their secret police, the Stasi, etc., a totalitarian regime. And Gregor Gysi, as many former members of the party, has been credibly accused of spying for the Stasi on fellow East German citizens. So what is a leader of the old Socialist Unity Party doing hanging around with New York activists and politicians? Well, after the collapse of East Germany, the old Socialist Unity Party, the Communist Party, changed its name to the Party of Democratic Socialism. Then it changed its name again to a new name, Die Linke, the Left Party. It's now the fifth biggest party in the German parliament. It gets about anything between 10 and 15% of the vote, depending on the area and the election. Now, Gregor Gysi became the leader of the Party of Democratic Socialism for many years, and he's also a very highly placed leader of Die Linke. He's sort of the party's elder statesman, a very popular figure. Now, Die Linke set up the Rosa Luxemburg Foundation in Berlin. It has offices in about 20 countries across the world, from Latin America to Africa, South Africa, North Africa, certain countries in Europe, communist Vietnam, in communist China, in Beijing, and also in Moscow. So it has this network, and it also has the Rosa Luxemburg Stiftung in Madison Avenue, New York. They want the office because they're still in the revolution business. And the office in Manhattan is where they coordinate with the United Nations, they're very strong there, and also with North American, with United States and Canadian communists. They're trying to build the communist revolution in America. Now, the actual Rosa Luxemburg Stiftung was established in 2012. And immediately started working with US communists, right from the start. In 2013, it actually convened a meeting in Manhattan with representatives of Communist Party USA, Democratic Socialists of America, the Committees of Correspondence, the breakaway from the Communist Party USA, and what was then known as the Freedom Road Socialist Organization, now known as Liberation Road. And Rosa Luxemburg Stiftung was trying to get these 4 American communist groups to unite, to become one united American Communist Party. So they were they were trying to influence American politics. Here's a picture from 2013 of Maria Svart, the head of Democratic Socialists of America, at the Rosa Luxemburg Stiftung. DSA was involved right from the start. The Rosa Luxemburg Stiftung has always had German leadership. Stephanie Emsem, Albert Scharenberg, both Die Linke members. The current leader of the organization is Andreas Gunther, and he was previously Die Linke's head of the Department of International Policy. They're putting important communists into the New York office. These are not low-level cadre. These are leading members of Die Linke that they're sending to the United States to work with American communists. Now, a lot of Americans work for the organization as well. One of them was Ethan Earle. He worked there for 8 years coordinating groups around the country, and he is a member of the Democratic Socialists of America International Committee. So, these are the people who work with the European communists, Latin American communists. They have become part of the Sao Paulo Forum, which is the alliance of Latin American Communist parties set up by Fidel Castro to promote revolution in South America. So looks like they're trying to do it in North America too. Another one was Heidi Schwa. She's a DSA member, leader of People for Bernie. There's Kazembe Balagun. He's very close to Liberation Road, very active in People for Bernie, and author of the 2014 book, Imagine Living in a Socialist USA. A current project manager for the United States and the United Nations is Aaron Eisenberg, another member of Democratic Socialists of America. In 2014, the Rosa Luxemburg Stiftung organized a big gathering at Briarcliff Manor. This is sort of a Tony event center in upstate New York. And they called it Mapping Socialist Strategies. There was about 200 people there from the United States, from Canada, Europe, and they were there to basically work out how to promote the revolution in North America and Europe and how they could cross-pollinate and work together.
For Mapping Socialist Strategies, we are bringing together socialist leaders from across the United States, from Canada and Europe, leaders of local struggles in the communities, leaders of labor, of social movement networks, leaders of socialist parties, of educational reform, and of progressive media.
The guests included very top leaders of the Communist Party USA, like Libero Della Piana, his partner Judith LeBlanc, the woman who engineered the Marxist Deborah Harlan to become Secretary of the Interior in the United States, by the way. Mark Brodeen of the Communist Party's Environmental Commission, a leader of the Washington State Communist Party. From Liberation Road, there's Bill Gallegos, very big activist in the Mexican Solidarity Movement, trying to work to keep the borders open and the illegal immigrants flooding across the border. And Alondria Williams of the Highlander Center. That's based in Tennessee. It's a training school for communists, mainly run by Liberation Road, and their goal is to turn the South left, to flip southern states, like they've already done in Virginia and are well on their way to doing in Georgia and other states. Another Left Roots member there was Alex Tom. Now, he was a long-time leader of the Chinese Progressive Association in San Francisco. That's a big voter registration organization that basically runs that city. You don't get elected in San Francisco without their blessing. And he is really, in my opinion, the brains behind Black Lives Matter. He set up Asians for Black Lives, which wrote the manuals for Black Lives Matter. He is very closely connected to the Chinese consulate in San Francisco, has very closely tied to the Chinese Communist Party, and a very close friend of Black Lives Matter founder Alicia Garza. And of course, Alicia Garza was also at the Mapping Socialist Strategies.
To me, socialism is about how we care, how we value care, and how we practice care.
In June 2017, the Rosa Luxemburg Stiftung did a Train the Trainer workshop in Manhattan. They had 30 members of Democratic Socialists of America there. This is the brains of the Bernie movement. This is 2017, right? Just after Trump had come to office. And so they were training up Democratic Socialists of America members, the backbone of the Bernie movement, to influence US politics. In November 2017, they held another training, and this time it was for DSA's AfroSoc branch, people of color branch of Democratic Socialists of America. African American, Asian, quite a few races in there, but mainly African Americans. As you can see by this photo, there's Maria Svart, head of DSA. There's Beth Huang, a leader of Boston Democratic Socialists of America. There's Christian Hernandez, one of the leaders of the Dallas, North Texas Democratic Socialists of America. And there's Jabari Brisport, who is now a New York state senator, just elected in the last election cycle. And also Kazembe Balagun was there as well, the older staff member from the Rosa Luxemburg Stiftung, who's very close to quite a few DSA members. So they're training people here for leadership roles in the US political left. So this is a German taxpayer-funded political organization run by former East German communists who are very close to Russia, training American left-wing political leaders, actually training them. Is this legal, do you think? In March 2018, the Rosa Luxemburg Stiftung led a delegation to a retreat of the Congressional Progressive Caucus in Baltimore, Maryland. So who's the Congressional Progressive Caucus? Well, it's a group in the Democratic Party. It was started in the early 90s by Bernie Sanders and Democratic Socialists of America to push socialist policies into the Democrats. It's now 95 or 96 members strong. And it's basically a transmission belt for communist and socialist ideas. You know, these are the people pushing the Green New Deal. These are the people pushing immigration amnesty. These are the people pushing, socialised healthcare and the PRO Act and all the voter registration legislation that the Democrats want to push through. This is coming through the Congressional Progressive Caucus, and the Congressional Progressive Caucus is working with the Rosa Luxemburg Stiftung. The Rosa Luxemburg delegation included Ethan Earle, one of their staffers, Albert Scharenberg, who was the co-leader of the organisation, Sven Dagdalen, a Die Linke MP, Member of Parliament from Germany, Eduardo Maura, a Member of Parliament for Podemos in Spain, Giannis Buonas from Syriza in Greece. There was Diane Abbott, a very far-left member of the British Parliament, part of the Jeremy Corbyn wing. So these were very senior European Marxists and communists meeting with members of the US Congress like Barbara Lee and Pramila Jayapal and Raul Grijalva and Ro Khanna and Mark Pocan. So it's clear that the Rosa Luxemburg Stiftung is trying to influence American politics at every level. They're training activists, they're mixing with members of Congress. They are trying to move America towards socialism, all funded by the German taxpayer and run by people with roots in the East German Communist Party. Apparently the FBI hasn't been looking at these people. Maybe the CIA should. Maybe some brave Republican congressmen should do something about this. So please, if you found this interesting, pass it round, pass it to any politicians that you know, any journalists you know. We need to get this kind of thing exposed. I'm sure the German taxpayer would also like to know that their money is being funneled into American revolution. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you found this show interesting. Like us, share us, get this message out as far and fast as you can. God bless America and God bless all of you. Thank you.